We're here and we're with you on this Think About Thursday, where it is your chance to be able to ask us questions. You have to forgive the noise in the background, please, and thank you. We are here with you as always, and today we're going to be talking to you if you have any questions about Vibe Talk. If you have any questions, we are going to let you ask us live and uncut. And so if you're here, we'd love for you to ask us questions. A lot of people want to find out. Can you hear me okay, Trish? Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. A lot of people want to ask us questions. Like, how did we get started? Is Vibe Talk just an ordinary podcast? I don't know. What other questions can you think of that people might want to ask us, Trish? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I'm just thinking.
Other questions people might want to ask for our type of podcast. Forgive the noise in the background. People don't have respect for other people, and that's too bad. But we are going to push ahead and do what we need to do. Questions. What questions might you all have? Vibe Talk, Facing the Lion podcast has been in year 3. People want to know a little bit about us. They want to know where did we get our start from. They want to know if we're live and uncut. They also want to know if we are live most of the time. I don't know, but today Trish and I, we're going to try you out in case you want to know. We've invited people to come along with us, and we kind of wanted to give you guys something different today as we think about Thursday. There is no picture because I could not simply find a picture. And, excuse me, we want to be able to still bring you live and uncut Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. So as we're thinking about our podcast, we even want to ask you, what would you like us to do more of? And we're going to do this where it is streaming, so our streaming, because that's a good question. How does that work? Trish, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Our streaming, you can cut it anytime, Trish. Our streaming allows you to be able to hear us and our previous recordings. We do well to keep it current for you. But as you know, life presents itself in very odd circumstances. Things come up. But you are current in the year 2024. If you're looking for any 2024s, they're there for you. Trish, you want to tell them a little bit more about the streaming? If you can think of anything.
Um, the thing I think of, the good thing about streaming is you can listen at any time, especially when you feel like I can't get them live, but um, I can listen before I go to bed or when I have a break or something after work. I feel like that's a beautiful thing about streaming. And also, you get your own space to listen on your own time. When you feel like I don't want to express how I'm feeling right now in front of people, you can also do that on your own time, on your alone time when you're listening to us. And also, feel free to be interactive as well. We're an interactive podcast. We have the comment sections. We have uh, the messages on Spotify where you can send a voicemail and tell us what you think and tell us how we have impacted you and how the podcast has helped you. So that's what I can think of about streaming.
She basically covered that. Thank you so much, Trish. It helps when I have my amazing co host and myself because sometimes my mind forgets. Well, when we think about our streaming, we've come a long way. You might want to know how many people on average are listening. Well, sometimes it appears that no one is in a virtual room, and that may be the case. The other thing about streaming is that our demographics, when we have looked at it, what numbers are we showing, Trish?
We're showing like thousands of people. Right now we're at 7,000 on our YouTube, even though it seems like we don't have enough viewers. But at the same time, when we look at the demographics, we're like, oh, they are listening.
Mm-hmm. And here's the places they're listening: Greece, Canada, Netherlands, Germany, and all the other 54 states. Wow. How did it become like that? You know, once you tell somebody something, or we're posted live from our social medias, and we're going there next in case you guys want to know. Our social medias, we record every episode. No matter what happens, we record them. And I have to say thank you to Trish for helping me through rigorous days learn how this technology works. And she's so very patient with me. But she works on our YouTube pages, and you've done such a beautiful job that you all, even there, we look at the numbers, the demographics of who's listening in our audience. In fact, wasn't it you, Trish, that mentioned to me the other day that more men are listening than before?
Yes.
Yes. So we appreciate that. What we want you to think about is when you listen, what do you do with the information that is imparted to you? Because the information is helpful. We will give you resources. We continue to tell you that we're no doctors, nor do we want to portray being in the medical field. I have high regard for those who have taken the time to study. I am a professional, certified life coach. And before that, I am a educator, 16 years. And I'm talking about early childhood and childhood education. 16 years. So when we come on, we know what we're talking about. We will never, here's the nevers that we won't do. We will never debate about anything. We will never give you something that we know is inaccurate. We will never allow you to attack someone else that may be on live. Um, what else will we never do, Trish, if you can think of anything?
We will never allow other people to get in your space when you say something, when you're interacting. We always talk in a general sense, not like directly towards each other, because your experience is your experience and my experience is my experience. And your facts towards what you've been through are not necessarily what my facts are to what I've been through. So we respect each other's space. So we will never let somebody invade your space. We're very strict on that.
Yes. Thank you so much, Trish. Trish is probably going to have some words with me after because I put her on the spot. That shows you, too, that we are able to work hand in hand with each other because she had no idea that I was going to do this for, think about Thursday. In fact, I had no idea. But we wanted to be determined to bring you something today. And speaking of those being in your space, I'm going to give you an example. If, let's say, person A gets on and says they're really feeling down today, and we say, why are you feeling that way, and what do you think could help you feel better? Person B would not at any time interject to give advice. Everybody got that? What you would do as a listener is simply just listen. We would not write out to him. We would not have you give advice. And the reason we don't do that is because we never take advantage how a person is feeling. Trish basically summed it up. Thank you for that, Trish. So I wanted to give you an example of what that would look like. So when you're on live with us, you're going to listen to everyone. You're going to see their comments. You're not going to pick someone out and start talking to them. And I think, Trish, for the last 3 years, we've been able to do well with controlling how we want Vibe Talk to end up. What do you think?
I think we did an amazing job about that. And like sometimes we don't have to say anything because they already get the vibe. It's like when and sometimes we have to let them know and they understand, and I feel like our audience right now, like they would understand that Vibe Talk is about a personal space and your personal experience and you willing yourself. So if we're all on our personal journey, I feel like everyone should understand that because it's personal, it should stay personal towards that person, not towards one another.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Trish. As well, Vibe Talk is about just that, talking. We've had people say, and I quote, why can't we talk? This is why Vibe Talk is interactive. everybody get that? Interactive. When something is interactive, what is interactive to everybody? That means that you get to come along. You get to join in. You have freedom to be able to talk. There's a space for that. And it's when we ask you questions. Some of our questions, Trish, can you remember any questions, one or two? One I remember is, what emotion do men feel? What has been a beautiful thing? We greet you with this one. What are you thankful for? And what did you learn and discover about our podcast episode for the day? And then as we go along, we do interactive work. That means everyone who joins us is able to engage with us, do your personal work. We do what we call expressions of art, or expressions through art, and that might be any given assignment. Keep in mind, this is not school. We have people that are 50 plus here, and reversing that, 18. Therefore, this is not school. We do that because it gives you a chance to talk and express. And how you guys have come together and got right into the conversations. We've had that going on in Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. What's another question you all might ask? Here's one. Why is it called Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast? Trish, what do you think that answer is?
I think actually this is a good question because I never thought about it, but I'm thinking about it now. But I think it's called Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast is because when I think about facing a lion, I'm scared, I'm terrified. So I think it's a podcast about facing the things that you are afraid of, facing the things that challenges you. So that's what I think it's about.
And she's absolutely right. You guys see how this is raw and uncut? Because we're going to do what you guys may be afraid to do. Ask and ask and ask. If you never ask, you'll never know. And she's absolutely right. When we think of the lion, a very powerful creature indeed. Lions are strong, courageous. Some of us look at those lions and we dare not get close to the lion because we know what the outcome would be of that. But when you're face to face with a lion, you get to see that lion in its full force. You see, the lions represent our challenges that we face. And sometimes what prevents us from getting challenged is fear. Fear is a very powerful emotion. Fear. When we think about fear, does it challenge us or not? Here's another powerful emotion, love. Love is a very powerful emotion. We've had people that were not shown love. We've had people that are loving all the time. We've had people that have no idea what the definition of love is. So here's what we do with all of the emotions that we just talked about. We help each other to face all emotions. I think we've encompassed every emotion. We never get tired of hearing information. I can say that for me from Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. We all can level each other. What do I mean by leveling each other? We all have the same experience or the same emotions. But we don't always have the same experience. We all feel happy. We've all felt sad. We all felt joyful. We've all felt ecstatic. We've all felt depression. So we're familiar with feeling this way or that way. But our experiences have shaped us into what we've been through. Is that hard enough? Sometimes there have been people in Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast that have felt fear, shame, guilt, embarrassed, sad, depressed, anger, hatred. If I have said anything that you have not felt, please mention it in the comments. But you get the general idea. And going back to why it's called Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast is because those have become lions to many people. Sometimes our feelings need to be woken up, not for the point of tearing us apart, but to help us to wake up the strengths that we have discovered regarding ourselves. You're able to look at yourself, and that's what I think is the most powerful thing, is that you get to discover the you that you are, the you that you've always been. See, fear presents the reality that we don't want to face because we think it's ugly. We think it's painful. So we say, I don't want to challenge that. But we ask that you challenge all of your emotions. So those would be times to talk. We do interaction of workshop. Everyone's invited. If you're not mature enough and you're under the age of 18, we ask that you come with your parents, because we have the ability to either have you be here or have you not be here. So there will be no interruption because people take it seriously. Our expressions of art, what's that all about? Trish, you want to tell people? And by the way, Trish has done all the assignments. Amazing. Go ahead, Trish.
So expressions through art is about just drawing out your emotions. If you can't say it, you can draw it. That's basically what the expressions through art is. And sometimes I make my own because sometimes I don't know how to. It's not that I don't know how to, but I don't feel safe enough to like talk about how I feel, so I take my journal and I just draw and I write out the words that I'm feeling. So expressions through art, it's not a right or wrong in the art. It's how you are feeling. It's how you're personally feeling. We talk about emotions like through color coding, which is like if you're sad, you can do a navy blue. If you're happy, you do a bright yellow. Or if you're feeling tired, you can do an amber green, something like that. But expressions through art is about expressing your emotions and how you feel in your own way.
Thank you for that. Understanding of your feelings is very important. It's connection to yourself, and at a very early age, we're allowing you to be able to look back and really, as you've grown up, to be able to say how you're feeling. I strongly recommend for any teachers, because I started out teaching, in your classroom, the color coding thing should be used in a very positive way. And you can have color coding anywhere in your classroom. You can even help the children create character color coding, in that whatever they like, whatever is the in thing, you can have that be part of your classroom, and they get the assignment of being able to color code their feelings. Like if you like SpongeBob, SpongeBob doesn't have to be yellow. SpongeBob can be blue if that's what the class likes. And they will tell you by doing that. And you know why I think it's a good thing? Because Trish said something that's very pointed. Sometimes children, like she said about herself, she may not feel safe in saying how she feels, but she can draw it or sing it. And that way you're not always putting a kid on the spot. You know, if Brian feels sad today, you can see on the chart under Brian's name, he was sad on Monday. Brian might come in school on Tuesday and feel really happy. I encourage you, educators, to think about this, because your schools are now under great pressures. The students and the teachers and the parents alike are all under great pressure. I think it would do a classroom good. Because you can go and talk to Brian, and I'm just giving a name privately. Brian, why were you so sad today? Brian, what are you so excited about? Because it keeps you involved, and it keeps you, the parent, and the student connected. I'm going to tell you, it was highly recommended when I first started. Tutoring is where I started. And on the district list, I was highly recommended before I even started teaching. Try it out. Let us know how you feel about that, because oftentimes children come to school from broken home, foster parents, hungry, abused. The list goes on and on. So Vibe Talk has helped many adults think about their mental and emotional health. We use examples, real things that have really happened. And when things have really happened, the famous words are, I can relate to that. I've had that happen to me. And so we're getting you connected to your feelings. The thing that I love too is that everyone who has ever come here has liked our vibe. The people who don't like it, they don't come back or they don't do the work. When, there's nothing like working on me. I am my own best project. I will forever be my own best project because to work on myself each day is to better myself. There are many artists in the world. Van Gogh, um, Walt Disney. Who else can we? Our thinking goes on and on and on. They didn't start out perfecting. They grew to their perfection of art. And I always think about that when introducing art of expression because it helps you to identify your feelings. I always think of Walt Disney when I think of artist and creation. I love Disney, so I can only tell you what I like. Mickey Mouse wasn't always the mouse that we know. Before Mickey Mouse became Mickey Mouse, he was something else, and you'll have to do your homework because I don't want to give you any false information, but he wasn't the Mickey Mouse that we all know. But Walt Disney perfected him. And now he's the Mickey Mouse that everybody knows. Disneyland's, Disney World's logo. You see Mickey Mouse, you think of Disneyland, right? So I want you all to be able to think about your feelings. We not only draw in vibe talk expression through art, we create ourselves. We create through flowers, butterflies, painting, whatever you like to do. Christine, welcome and thank you for joining us. We've invited people. If you've ever been to Vibe Talk Facing the Lion before, we want you to put up your virtual hand. And if you'd like to come on video, we'd love to have you. We will not put you on the spot, but if you want to come in, you can mention that. We're here on a weekly basis. Is Vibe Talk Facing the Lion just a podcast? What would you say to that, Trish?
I would say it's not just a podcast. I would say it's more of, how do I put it? Um, I don't think it's just a podcast. I think it's a source of help. That's what I think. Not just a podcast, and it's also welcoming, very welcoming, because I think podcast is a box for us, but I feel like there's more to us than just a podcast because we genuinely do care, and we want what's best for our audience, and we actually let them do their own work instead of giving them the answers. So that's what I think.
Christian, I said your name wrong. I apologize for that. Hi, Christian. We are, in addition to being a podcast, you can meet one-on-one with me. But here's how that works. We don't do any of the numbers that people do, like WhatsApp. That's not allowed for me to do a video call. You must have a video. Why is that? Because you can't see me right now. And that was my fault. But on a video call, we can see each other. And so when you do a personal one-on-one with me, when we go set, we talk about what you want to talk about, okay? We get to see each other. You get to know that I'm a real person. I get to see that you're a real person with all the AIs and all the technology doing all the stuff. You and I are real people. So you set up your time when you'd like to meet one-on-one. I don't know if you all know that. I'm currently doing that and have been for the last 3 years. And we welcome you to that. We don't force anybody to come into Vibe Talk. It's all about improving yourself, being the best you that you can be. And I'm going to tell you, just because I'm a wellness life coach professionally, I'm perfecting, or I am working on me, every day. Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast, people fear it, as if discovering yourself is something to be feared. Is it? I love to use the baby in the mirror analogy. If you've ever had an experience with a baby when they're about 6 months, they start this, some maybe even earlier, because these kids are really on some new stuff now. I'm telling you, they're newborns and they're awake. But I'll tell you this. Put a baby in a mirror and watch them. Are they feared of what they see, as if it was something to be fearful of? No, not the case. They're touching, they're talking, and sometimes they will put their mouths on the mirror, because you see that other person is actually them, but babies have no cognitive development to understand that that's another person. Now let's get back to you and I. When we stand in the mirror, we are recognizing with our full cognitive development that the person that we're looking at and talking about is you. A lot of people fear that mirror talk. That's an integral part of my program, to have you do the mirror talk once I feel that you have graduated to that step. Because you're going to discover that you are an in-depth person. You are more than just that outside. Because we take the time, don't we, Trish, to look at ourselves from the outside. But no one takes the time to look at themselves from the inward to the outward. Our intellect, our emotion, our mental, our spiritual, all of that is encompassed into what and who we are. We get to discover through the mirror talk, wow, I never knew that. And you're just like that baby in that You really like yourself, though it doesn't start out. It starts very curious as to who you are. I want to clear something up as you're listening to our podcast live. I want to say the statement that I made about babies and their cognitive development doesn't mean that they don't develop, but they aren't developed enough to recognize that's me. You show them a picture of them when they're about 3 years old, and you say, "Who's that?" They have no idea. But as they start to grow into that cognitive awareness, they begin to know after you tell them that, hey, that's me. And that's what you start to develop. I've had people cry. I've had people laugh. I've had people not want to even look at themselves. And we take it into consideration. Another question, Trish, that people may ask. How much do we charge? Oh, how does that work, Trish?
We are free, guys. We don't charge you. But if you want to donate, our Cash App is facing our our Cash App is Face the Lion. Vibe Talk Face the Lion. That's our Cash App.
Yeah. You see, because my time and Trisha's time is valuable. And when we say free, if you want to donate, if you have $1, you want to donate that, you can do that. No problem. Because let me just tell you, nobody gains riches. Not from Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. So when you want to do a one-on-one, volunteer. It will help our program because everything that we do is going to be turned over into the program. So when we say free, we absolutely mean free. Some people will not accept free. Believe it or not, I've had people that says, no, Miss Nisi, we can't do this free. We don't want you guys to take advantage. We want you to realize that Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast has touched many lives. Another question? Any other questions, Trish? Thank you for putting that there. Oh, is it Wanisha? Hi there. If you want to be on camera with us, we'd love to have you today. Thank you for joining us. And we say hello to you. And I hope I'm saying your name correctly. It looks like Juanisha. Juanisha, where are you from? I love this, Trish. And you guys make it easier. We're asking questions that we think that you all might want to ask us. Can you talk about anything? That is anything that you feel is important. We don't get into controversies. We don't get into the numbers of who's right, who's wrong. We stay strictly on our own selves. If you want to ask me questions, if you want to ask Trish questions, you are more than welcome to do that. We're so glad when you guys come in. Trish and I think of new ideas, new ways to be able to keep this podcast free and clear. We're so excited to be able to talk to you guys. and reaching out, making a difference with you all. And just for the simple fact that I have invited guests to come, you guys are here free, and we thank you for this. It is Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. Oh, yeah. Here's another question. What is Vibe Talk After Dark? Trish, you want to put the information about where to find us, our playlist, so they'll know? Vibe Talk After Dark radio show is affiliated exclusively with Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. Oh, yeah. Our Vibe Talk After Dark radio show is all about smooth and chill music. And you're making a dedication to anyone that you'd like to. You're sharing inspiring stories. You're being able to make song requests. Yeah, that's on YouTube. And Trish will be providing the information down in the comments. And for those of you who are streaming, you can now listen to Vibe Talk After Dark radio show. We're so happy about that. We see the numbers. And I really, Trish, you know how I am. I really don't like to talk about numbers, but in this case, we have to. Because when we put out new ideas, when Trish and I are together, we talk about what we'd like to do. We're not sure of the idea. But when we put it out there and we see that people are listening, that means, yeah, we really liked it. And so we go to YouTube and we're putting Vibe Talk After Dark radio show out there for all of you to see. Wow, you have really bitten the bait. So that is our exclusive radio show. What time is it, Trish? We have a new time for that.
It's 8 o'clock.
PM Pacific Standard Time. If you're living on the West Coast. East Coast, what would it be?
It'll be 11 p.m.
Yeah. Why do we have it like that? Because kids are in bed. See, when we think about something after dark, get your mind out of the gutter, because we're not talking about anything nasty, anything raunchy. We keep it clean. But we know that music adds to our healing of the emotion and the mind. And I'm going to tell you guys something. I've recently noticed that they will try to mute us, and they have muted it, but I go back and I dispute it, and they actually release the mute. Have you experienced that, Trish?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Because you see, there are people that listen. There are people who read what we are trying to do. And you see, at that hour, most kids are ready to go to sleep, and you can wind down. Do we get to play all requests? We try to. We keep it smooth, chill. And when you're listening to us, here's our thing. Our symbol is the heart. We ask that you put up a heart. If you're streaming Vibe Talk After Dark radio show, let us know where you're listening from. Is there another segment in Vibe Talk After Dark radio show that is affiliated with Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast? We'll let Trish tell you, since it's her segment. Trish?
Yes, my segment is Trish's Treasures, and my segment, it mostly talks about my experience and whatever topic that we have, and sometimes I make videos of enjoying my life because I feel like when there's a positive impact when other people see someone doing the little things and enjoying the little things. So my segment is also promoting my music. I am an artist. I produce my own music and I write my own songs. That's what I do. And I mostly write positive songs. Well, I only write positive songs. And that is also in my segment because a positive message, I feel like if you want to deliver a positive message and you want someone to hear that positive message all the time, put it in a song because it will always be on repeat. And that's what I do with my music and with my Trish's Treasures. And if you guys want to be updated on anything that I post or any video that I make, it is also affiliated with Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. So you'll see my videos on our YouTube channel. And I have my own personal playlist. I'm going to put my information in the comments. And you can also hashtag Trish's Treasure. So that's my segment.
We're going to give you a sample of that right now. Trish, for Trish's Treasures. Take it away.
So we have been talking about what our podcast is about. And what I thought about was when I really wanted to start my self-love journey. And I know I tell the story all the time, but I feel like it's important because when you want to start your self-love journey, my mindset was, where do I begin? Like, where does it start? What's the steps to it? And being in Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast has helped me motivate myself to keep going because starting on something with the drive and the passion to do something, it has to be driven on motivation to keep going. And it's not going to be easy. And it also helps me be patient with myself and certain topics that we talk about and the fear of dealing with me, facing who I am in the mirror and knowing there's a deeper meaning to church. There's a deeper meaning to me. And facing that, sometimes it comes with a lot of fear and obstacles. And I think of the podcast that we had about fight, flight, or freeze, I can choose whether to face the challenge, which is the fighting, or to just freeze up and say, I don't know what to do. What's next? Or I can just run away from it. And I'm not a runner. I don't do that. I am going to face it. I'm going to fight it. And that's what I do. And I feel like when you listen to Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast, I feel like those are the three choices you have to do. Whether you can run, you can freeze, or you can try to face the challenges that you have. Try to face who you are in the mirror, in the deeper parts of you. So that's my Trisha's Treasures, and hopefully you find what I found in Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast.
Where can you find Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast? Trish? Where can they find us?
Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, YouTube, Instagram, just on all streaming platforms. I'm trying so hard not to sing the jingle right now.
I know it. I was thinking that too. We're going to play that because you know what? Trish is responsible for all of our music. And it's come together so beautifully. And we're going to play this infomercial.
You can send it to our Cashapp, which is vibetalkfacethelion. You can send us voice messages as well through Spotify and our direct connect, which is 661-523-8993, which is the first information that you'll see on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is also the first resource of our updated videos, along with Facebook with any up-to-date videos or reels or any posts that we're doing. Instagram mostly promotes the positive quotes and reels of our podcast and our radio show, which is Vibe Talk After Dark Radio Show, which happens Saturday nights. Doesn't have a specific time, and our slogan is "What song can we play for you?" And that is also hosted by our host of Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. You can find most of that on iHeartRadio and our Spotify.
Yeah, that part. One other thing. Am I able to connect with Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast even after the show or the podcast is off air? Yes, we say. That number is able to also receive your texting at 661-503-8993. Everybody got that? As you're streaming whatever you're comfortable with, I will be able to see all of your messages and we will respond accordingly. Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast is your podcast. It's for the people that are concerned with their mental, emotional health. We need more of that, wouldn't you say? It's for classrooms. It's for educators, lawyers, doctors, humans, just like you and me. Because mental and emotional health is too we are. Just like you drive a car and you need to maintenance your car, just like getting into shape, we need to shape up in our mindset. We need to speak well into ourselves, and we need to see ourselves become best versions of ourselves. So I thought today we would do this. And now our last question of the day. What did you learn and discover about yourself in this podcast today on Think About Thursday's Vibe Talk information? Trish, we'll start with you.
Today, I learned that I am a part of a positive impact, and I'm doing I'm doing well. I'm doing better than I thought I would when I was given this position. That came out of nowhere also, just like this podcast. But yeah, I'm learning. I'm also learning to interact with you guys as well as the audience. And I'm also learning to, this podcast in general has helped me to learn and discover about myself every day. Sometimes I think I know me, and I have to step back and reflect on me. And that's okay, that's fine. And when you're on the journey on learning about yourself, it's okay to have something that helps you, whether you're listening to this podcast or you're reading something positive. So that's what I learned about me, that this podcast actually helped me continue to stay motivated in being who I am. And my experience here today, it was informative, because sometimes I think I'm not doing enough on my segment, and sometimes I think there's more to do. But in reality, we are doing what we're supposed to do, and we do have more to do, but we are doing well so far.
Thank you for that, Trish. It is my honor to honor Trish. I'm going to say this without crying. I have seen the work inside of yourself as a life coach that has helped you. You've also helped me see things about myself. And I want you to know that. And so Trish has earned the seat of being the co-host. We have people that have come and go. We have earlier hosts that have come and go. But Trish really was a right fit for me. Smart, wise, and Trish's Treasures. Go take a look at that. Trish and I sit in two different states. I'm in the state of California. And Trish is, where are you, Trish?
I'm in South Carolina.
And we're not scripted, just so that you know. Trish had no idea that I was going to do this for Think About Thursday. I had no idea. I'm telling you. But because of technology and things like that, I'm glad that we were able to do this, because so many of you are asking questions. If you're streaming us, by all means, make great use of it. If you're listening to us in your car, at work, at home, as a class, as an instruction. You have my permission, my full permission to do that without voicing over. You have my full permission without voicing over the information. Because we have helped so many people. And Trish is living proof. What have I learned and discovered as a host? I've learned to be empathetic. I've always been emotional, but I speak more than I listen. And I learned through this podcast to really listen. That means that I take my mind and I'm going to stay focused on what you're saying. And then I take the deepest part of me in my heart, and my heart's eyes are open to listen and receive. Therefore, I've heard you. And I want to continue because I know that we are on the right journey. People have begun their healing because of this. So we've been told. And we're ready, wherever you are, to be able to help with more of your healing, providing that you're ready to do the work. Trish said earlier, we don't give you any answers. Why? Because you hold the key to all of your answers about you. No one humanly can do it better. You have access to all of your feelings, all of your emotions, everything you've experienced, and what you want to do about it. Thank you for joining us, Trish. Thank you so much for your input today. It means so much. And we want to thank the audience who came out to listen to us. And this will be streamed very soon. We thank you, and we want to hear from you guys. Thank you for joining us. And we're going to play another one of Trisha's songs that she created for us. The outro she created. The intro was hers as well.
Really got